I'm Representative Al Baldessaro, and I'm with my host, Representative Jeanine Nada.
His host.
It's
I'm a
our
co-host.
You know, after this is our third show.
It's our
at
third
7
show
taping today.
today.
And, did I ever tell you in Londonderry I was perfect? I don't think so. But anyways, this is Who's Looking Out for You. Jeanine, what do you think? It's been a great day today.
Yeah, and I'm going to do one more show after this
Oh, yeah.
in Merrimack. Mm-hmm.
And that's called?
It's Chatting with Jeanine.
Chat.
I've been on the air since 2006, and the guest that I'm going to have on the show at 4 that I'm taping is our guest today at whatever
Wow.
time it is.
How'd you get the majority leader in here?
We live in the same town.
Is that what it is? Mm-hmm. Oh, so
I know
are
where
you
he
on-
lives.
Are you on quick dial?
We are.
Email, Facebook. I see him all. I pass him on the road all the
You're not
time.
mad that you had to do another show and miss out on any running or anything?
I ran this morning, so
Okay,
I'm
just
good.
checking.
I'm covered.
But anyway,
Yes.
why don't you introduce our guest here?
Well, he's the House Majority Leader, Representative Dick Hinch.
Dick,
Well,
welcome
thank you.
to Londonderry.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Yes, good to see you.
As you
I haven't
see-
seen you in a long
What?
time.
I think since the
And
meeting
I haven't
last
talked
night.
to you in
yeah.
a long time
I
either.
know.
What, this morning?
Like this morning.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So-
I tried to make him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Yeah.
You were trying to get him to back out of the
No,
speaker's race.
no.
Oh, okay.
For those that don't know, you own your own company, right?
do, yes,
And,
yep.
And he's a legislator, and you've been up there how many years?
I'm coming to my 6th term.
Sixth term.
Yep,
and
yep,
I'm running my
yep.
7th, and you're running
Fifth.
fifth
Oh,
term.
5, 6, 7. There we go.
Yeah.
That's
there
right.
we go.
There we
Yep,
go.
yep, yep.
So, Dick, tell us some stuff. What do you think? Tell us some stuff what you do as a majority leader.
Well, let me start off by saying that, as you said, I am the owner, principal broker for Hinch Crowley Realty Associates, and
Where is that at?
out of Merrimack,
Merrimack,
and
okay.
we also have an office in Nashua as well too. So, yeah.
Where are you located in Merrimack? I mean, I see you all the time on the road.
Yeah.
Thank you for not running me over when
You're
I'm out
very
jogging.
welcome.
Yes.
So I get extra points if I run you over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard that. That's why
Well, you know, she's protected by the Marines there, by the way.
Okay.
There's a few of us that we look out for her.
All right. Well, I'm a Navy guy, so.
We don't,
Yeah.
we don't hold that against them.
waiting for the line. He says it every time.
Yeah.
Yep. So as majority leader, obviously I am the leader of the caucus. I've been the majority leader now for 3 years. When 4 years ago, when Speaker Jasper came in, I was the House Majority Whip. And then when the majority leader resigned to run for Congress,
I think who it was. I
Jack
remember that.
Flanagan.
Yes.
Then I was appointed to replace him, and then reappointed again, obviously afterwards. So it's just an awesome responsibility. I love it. I have a lot of fun, and it has its challenges, obviously.
No.
There's a
No, I just can't believe that.
nobody ever
Is it
talks
like
about
herding cats, or
it
is
is
it like,
it is actually herding kittens
Yeah,
versus
kittens,
cats.
Yeah. Well, some of us are cats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lions.
So, but yeah, it has its challenges, but it also has its great opportunities as well too. And I love it. It's a significant time commitment. I mean, it is not unusual to be up there 5 days a week. 2 years ago, when we had the debacle with the previous governor, not the current governor, then we were up there through the summer as well, trying to navigate through that and get that bill passed. But it has its rewards as well
Oh,
too.
without a
So
doubt.
if
Yeah.
I were to guess your favorite part of the job, I would think that at the end, when the House session is over and they say your name in the third reading and everyone cheers, it kind of sounds like we're all cheering for you, when in reality we're just cheering because it's over and we
'cause
get to go
it's
home.
done.
But
See, I
but
thought that they were
we
cheering
for
because
you.
it was me,
Yeah.
and this nice-looking guy stood up in front of the
Dick,
entire.
Stop thinking, Dick. Come on now. We're all ready to rush out the door.
All
And
right.
I have a protocol question.
Yes.
Because I have a book. It was written by Donna Sitek, who was
Yes.
the first female speaker of
Yes,
the
she
House
was.
of
Yeah.
Representatives in New Hampshire. And she has the proper title for every office, but I don't recall one for majority leader. So
It is
I
Mr.
heard
Leader.
Chris Chris Christie's wife call you Mr. Leader.
Yeah, and that is proper.
And I saw your face light up, so I just call you Mr. Leader. But is that the proper term?
That is the proper term.
I got it
Yes.
right then.
See that?
All right.
Look
There.
at that.
That set the precedent. Everybody else is calling him Mr.
So,
Leader now,
Mr.
too.
Leader, well then, since that's the case there, of course, I'm his assistant. No, what am I? Assistant majority
You're
leader, I
assistant
think.
majority leader,
But anyways,
yeah.
tell us, let's talk
So
about
I could
some-
call you Mr. Assistant.
Yeah, that's right, Mr.
Assistant.
Assistant to the assistant. But anyways, let's talk about some great things that we've done here
Yes,
as
list of
legislator.
accomplishments.
You have
Absolutely.
your list there, and
We've gone over some of these.
Yep, and we've had, during the 2017, 2018 session, we've had some great accomplishments. We've had some disappointments, but that happens. It
Right.
comes with it. But I always look forward. I'm very optimistic by nature, and you look at the best parts and don't not focus on what could have been, should have been,
Right.
would have been. And so we passed a 2-year spending plan, and with that there was no new or increased taxes. It
no
was
downshifting.
no downshifting, that's right. It was a little bit of a challenge to navigate through it because there were some that believed that it was, the spending percentage was too high. There were some that believed it was too low and we should have been funding other things. At the end of the day, what we came forward with was a balanced budget, which we have to, with no new by law, with no new increase spending, but no increase taxes or fees, I should say. There was increased spending, and no downshifting, to your point, Al. And it was in line with the revenue. As a matter of fact, we were blessed that, and Republicans are very conservative but realistic in their revenue projections. And we are blessed that we have a chairman of Ways and Means, which is the standing committee that does the
Well, that's
projections.
Representative Norm Major.
Norm
does a
Major
great job.
does a great job, and the economy has been favorable to us, and the Trump tax cuts have been favorable to us,
Yeah.
and so therefore the revenue projection or revenue that was realized was above the revenue projection. That's a good thing, because if it had gone the other way, we would have had a real challenge there. And so we were able to recently do some other initiatives as well too. And we just sent another $30 million for bridge infrastructure, as a
Right.
matter of fact. That's going to benefit Manchester, which is obviously closest to us here, because they're going to be able to take care of a very serious condition at a red-listed bridge there.
Right.
So, we were able to send $30 million back to the
Well, I
communities.
think when we had Representative Sherman Packard on the show, we were talking about bridges
Right.
a little bit.
Yep.
And I have to throw out there so my listeners will know, I was against the bill. I was supported half of it, but the other half that I felt that was thrown in there, I did not support.
Right.
So I was one of the voters
I was
against that.
one of those too.
Yeah, so I just have to let you know up front there, so because I don't hide anything from my voters.
Yep.
I wish every vote was transparent so they could know exactly where we vote and how we vote and whether we're looking out for the constituents or not.
Well, that vote was,
Yeah.
that was a roll call
Right,
vote.
it was a roll call,
Yep.
and Dick, and you've been on the ball there with a lot of people there and moving them forward, and,
Yep.
and I feel
Thank
for
you.
you there because
you.
I seen that, a lot of reps were missing.
Right, that's right.
You know?
And that's one of
whole
our one of our disappointments, one of my disappointments, and because there were a few bills that we should have won, and we lost
Because-
very narrowly,
Right, yes.
and it was
have enough people there.
directly as a result of some attendance issues. Now, when you talk about that, and I was on a radio show several days ago, and we were talking about it, and the host was incensed that people, were absent and for the vote and all that. And I had to remind him that this is a volunteer legislature. This is a legislature that not only volunteers, the compensation is $100 a year.
Right.
taxes are taken out.
Yes.
And then, of
Right,
course,
and-
there's mileage reimbursement
But it's
to
not
and
enough-
from
not enough to make
session.
up for their job.
But that's
and,
not
And we
enough.
were saying on one of the other shows, we have single dads up there. They work full time, and they have to give up all of their vacation
Yes.
time, all of their sick days,
Yep.
to make that commitment to be at the State House. And sometimes that's not even enough. And some of them have bosses that are not very friendly to their being state legislators.
That's right.
You know, I'll tell you, between the money we donate and the functions we go to,
Yeah.
I mean, I look at it, I just go off the top of my head, this job, just to do this job, probably cost me 8 to 10 grand a year, if not more.
Oh, sure.
You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? And I feel bad for some of the reps
Yep.
because we have people from all walks of life,
Yep.
and some of them are struggling, they're trying to, make a living, but they're there.
Yeah.
They're there, they're
Lisa
dedicated.
Freeman
Yeah,
and,
they're dedicated.
Representative Freeman in
Yeah.
Manchester, I don't remember what the number was, and she was telling us how much money she's lost
Yeah.
Yeah.
in for
Yeah.
being a state rep.
And
But
some business owners like yourself that can't be
Absolutely.
in your business,
Yep.
that you got to be at the State House there.
and how many
That's right.
days a week are you there? Are you there every day?
Well, in the past couple of months, it's been more to the 3 days versus the 5 days. But during the process with a budget and crossover and things such as that, I'm there 5 days.
Right.
The speaker's there 5 days or more.
people on
We're on
finance
the-
are there 7 days a week at some parts.
Absolutely. And the speaker and I are both on call 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It is not unusual for me to talk to the speaker on the weekend 2 or 3 times a day because something comes up. Many think that, as the speaker, you're presiding over the inner workings of the House for that session day. But there is so much more that happens behind the scenes with both the speaker
Right.
and the majority leader, because the speaker is also in charge of the entire
Right.
facility
Now,
as well too.
When I was a freshman, I didn't know that,
Yep.
but now the longer I'm there, the more I realize just how much.
Sure.
Last
Goes
week,
into
now we're in
every
the summer
bill.
now. People think that we're only, part-time,
Yeah.
January to June, or the end of May. Well, we're, 3 days of the task force meeting?
Right.
And then Friday, I had to go to a fiscal meeting because it was a National Guard issue, and he was up there every
Yep.
day also on,
Yeah.
on that stuff there. He was actually on the committee, on
Yep.
the task force.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
the special
And
session.
then,
which
then you were
Yeah.
in,
will
the
already
week
happen.
prior, we were up there, Thursday?
That's right.
Yeah.
So the task force that Al is referring to was just formed for the special session that's coming up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so, we were there for that Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, half a day Friday, and then last week we were up there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and completed the work on Thursday, in order to meet the deadline and bring it forward for tomorrow's vote. So,
This is very
was-
long.
Yeah.
I was
This
trying
is
to
very
look
long.
up here, but
I
there's
had
a
a
lot of
question.
rumbling.
Well, by the time this airs, it'll already happen, and
Yep.
they will know the answer to this question. But since it hasn't happened yet by the time we're taping, will there be amendments? Will there be floor amendments?
there can be, yes.
Okay, so
the-
where might
See,
be
I
there all
thought
day?
there couldn't be.
No,
I
no.
remember asking.
When rules were established, first of all, the procedure tomorrow will be that the House has to adopt the rules that we established that are printed in the calendar that you have. And contained within there provides the ability to offer an amendment to rules, and it also provides the opportunity to amend the bill as well too. But again, remembering that this bill is going to originate in the Senate.
Right.
Okay? So the Senate is going to adopt their rules. The Senate is going to vote on the bill.
When do they
They, 10 o'clock tomorrow
At
morning.
10, so-
Yep. And then they have to deal with amendments as well too, and either accept or reject them. So then the bill comes over to us. If there is no amendments, it just comes over as you have it and as you see it. The House is going to then go through a process of, we have to adopt our rules, which are subject to an amendment. It's a simple majority vote on that. And then We do, and by the way, it's a roll call of attendance as well too, because
Right.
this is a special session.
Oh, okay, that
So
takes time.
the
Yeah.
roll is called versus pushing a button.
And we make a lot of money tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, $3.
Oh, we have heard we get $3. All right, I
$3.
can
You
get
know
a
we're
coffee.
donating that money?
Yes, to Liberty House.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, are we all?
Yeah.
Do we all have the opportunity
Yes.
to do that?
Yep.
All right, nice.
So then the bill, after the rules are adopted, the bill is called introduced to the House, which is a procedure, and then the bill is there for debate and amendments if necessary, and then a vote.
Has any
The
been turned
key,
in?
yes, the key to it is that in the rules of the Senate, there is no provision for what's called a committee of conference. So if someone decides to put an amendment in, okay, even if the House by simple majority, and that's all it takes, was to adopt it, so now it travels back over to the Senate, ought to pass as amendment. For them, it's a concur, non-concur, so it's a yes or no.
Oh, okay.
If they say no, that bill dies at the end of the conversation. So people, the reps will need to be very guarded because the unintended consequence is, unlike when we deal with other bills during the normal session, and you have your crossover and then you have your committees of conference, there's no provision for that. So if someone wanted to sabotage the bill, or if the amendment might even be an amendment that the three of us might like,
Right.
but the Senate doesn't like it, for whatever reason,
Will it
the
ca-
bill dies.
Really?
Dies.
Yeah, right. Well,
Yeah.
some of the rumbling that's going on, and I'll, leave it at that rumbling, is that there was no public hearings. Just and I said, no. I spoke at 2 of the public hearings,
Right.
and I said there was 3 to 4 public hearings on this bill. So I
yeah.
put that out this morning in private things that I'm involved in.
Actually,
There was
there was
4.
4
Right.
full days
Full days
of
of
public
hearings.
hearings.
Right.
This bill, and this is where there's some people that are misunderstanding or misguided in how they're thinking about it. This bill received more transparency, more public hearings,
Right.
more notice
Yes.
Than
than
any
any
other
other
bill.
bill that
Well,
we've dealt
but
with.
I don't understand why the Senate, if they don't like an amendment, that the whole bill dies. Why can't they just not like the amendment and?
Because
No.
it went over to them, ought to pass
That's the
as
same-
amendment.
That's the
So
same
it's
way the
already a
process
new,
is now.
it's already a new
Yeah.
created bill.
So, I don't think this is partisan. I think we should all be together.
Well, there were
Absolutely.
17 to nothing
So-
vote in the committee.
That's
Right.
right.
There were Democrats and Republicans in that committee. Senators, it was a joint committee.
So
Yes.
even if this isn't perfect, if we do nothing, the results are devastating, and this is,
And
we probably
devastating.
have more work to do in the next session. or
Yeah,
next
devastating
term.
is an appropriate word,
Yes.
because what's happened is, with the Wayfarer, South Dakota decision.
Oh, maybe
okay,
there's some viewers that don't know what
yeah.
that is.
So we're talking about the
Supreme Court.
Supreme Court decision. It's called Wayfarer versus South Dakota. It has to do with sales tax collection, internet sales tax collection. Now, there is no sales tax in the state of New Hampshire. If you're going to sell that book, then
Oh,
there's
no, I haven't finished reading it yet.
Okay, then there's no sales tax. Okay.
Right, yeah.
It's a really good book, though.
But other states do have it. So this decision went to the Supreme Court. So now with this bill, what we've done is we've said, nope, we're going to make it as difficult as hell for anybody to force any of us in the state of New Hampshire to collect a sales tax on their behalf. So there's still no New Hampshire,
Right.
but now there is for what we call a foreign entity, which can be a state sales tax, it can be a county sales tax out in New York, Connecticut, wherever,
Town,
okay?
yeah, city.
Town.
Yeah, city.
So, we're saying no. But, that means in order to do that they have to register. And so we're making through this legislation, we're making it as difficult as possible for them to force us to collect.
Some are saying it doesn't go far enough, that it doesn't do enough for small businesses. So
Right.
How do we
When
address
you
that?
say, when anyone says it doesn't go far enough, we all would like it to, the bill to say at the end of the day, here in New Hampshire, we do not have a sales tax, we're not going to collect a sales tax, go fly a kite,
Right,
okay?
and there will be a fee and other stuff they have to pay.
That's right, for
to
setup
regi-
and
for
all
setting
of
up
that,
the
yeah.
registration.
Right.
And then the state has 120 days to put this in, I mean,
That's
to,
right.
to go through and to make sure, it's not a scammer.
Well, and that is the key. The Attorney General's, the Department of Justice, Attorney General's office is very concerned about scamming that's going to happen now. And that's where the viewing audience needs to understand that, they could be contacted by someone who purports to be from this jurisdiction trying to collect or have them collect sales tax on their behalf, and it's a scam. So there's a registration process that will happen.
One of the things I learned by going there, and I never knew, our DRA is already audited in books in other states.
Yes.
And they're doing that because when they come into
What,
New Hampshire.
define DRA, what is
When
that?
I say Department of Revenue.
Correct.
Yeah.
Administration.
Administration.
Yep.
And what they're doing, when people come into New Hampshire businesses to work, they're required to pay BET and BPT taxes.
That's right.
Okay, and these are taxes on the payroll and taxes on the items, I guess, of their inventory or whatever, however that works.
Yep.
But anyways.
Profits.
Yeah, profits rather. So they audit their books in there, and we have a pack or something going on with other states to do this. So the people are saying you can't, well, we don't do this, we don't do that. That's not right. Well, it's not correct. You know what I mean? So then they're not putting out the right information. These are my fellow reps that were on the sidelines that never showed up to any of the hearings
Right.
to learn and see what goes on. I was there sitting in the background
Yep.
the whole time. He was up in the
There's
front.
unintended consequences
Right.
too. So what we want to do is make sure that the bill and the legislation that we're putting forward passes, I'll call it the smell test. It does
Legal-wise, yeah.
legal legalities of it and protecting our businesses and residents, okay? When you go too far, then you run the risk of challenge and suit, and then the unintended consequence is that they can throw out the whole thing versus taking it in parts. The key to this legislation is that we, and it was a Republican initiative, we in leadership met and put into the legislation a bill that creates a commission, different than a committee, a commission, okay? And they're obligated to make 3 reports before November 1st of 2019. And we've given them a wide berth, a lot of latitude in things that they can do, and
Are they still going
so
to jail car?
as a part.
As a part, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that part is what some can be missing, because this commission can recommend and formulate legislation that brings it even a step further towards the end result that some are looking for. But,
Well, I would.
excuse me, let's lay the
we'd be one of
foundation.
those, we're both really conservative.
Yeah.
We want those
Right.
small businesses.
Yeah. Let's lay the
Yeah.
foundation, let's get it out there, let's immediately protect our businesses in New Hampshire, and then we can make the necessary tweaks or desired
Right.
tweaks along the way. But to throw up our hands and say, oh, it doesn't go far enough,
Right.
and this
Well-
legislation is lousy.
I haven't seen the amendments that come forward, but I can tell you, if there is an amendment that comes through that tells them to go pound sand, that there's a disclaimer, like I brought up, saying personal responsibility use tax. You buy off of New Hampshire remote sites, then it's your responsibility to pay the taxes. We're not a taxing state.
Right.
I would support that. You know what I mean? Because as you know, I brought it up twice on that at the meeting there. But I'm still I'm gonna vote for the bill still.
Right.
I'm gonna support it, but I'm gonna support that amendment that says that.
Right.
Because
Right.
that's
See,
what I
run into
prefer.
that a lot too, and
Right.
throughout the time I've been a rep, because there are some
Right.
groups that look at amendments and they hold it against
Right.
you if you.
And see, I don't
Right.
care because I already made it clear. And I've been supporting, putting out the different things in different areas on this here. We have some private stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been telling them, I've been there. No, this is a protection. This has nothing to do. This is forcing out of state to go and register, pay the fee, and then, you work it out with the company there.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's a quick fix right now,
Yep.
just in case.
And an immediate fix, and
Right.
if there's an initiative to try to change this tomorrow, and put the decision off, and our businesses need that certainty right now.
Yes.
Right.
And so understand the benefits of the commission, and the commission will make
Right.
adjustments to it. We recognize that. We want them to,
So
actually.
the people that are watching this, explain to them what could happen with the scammers that are out there that will scam our businesses if we don't put this in.
And take no more than 3 minutes because
Yeah.
that's all we have left.
Exactly.
Yeah, 'cause we got- I'm just saying, because it's
no-
very important for business
Oh,
to know
absolutely.
this.
No different than any other scam that happens where someone calls and says that they're from the IRS or
Oh.
if they're from Capital Bank and they want
Yeah,
your
the credit
personal
card people
information
called this morning.
or,
I hung up on
whatever.
them. Yeah.
There will be people that will could reach out and just say, I am from the Lexington district, and we are, requesting records, and you need to collect and report sales tax and send it off to us, et cetera, when it's not legitimate. It's
Right.
just someone that is sitting in a cubicle trying to scam and force
Right.
something that isn't legal.
I wish we had more time that we could go
I
through a
know.
lot of
On the
bills.
last show we did, we were saying
But,
we have to
yeah,
do another show.
Right, but this was so important to the business community that.
Absolutely.
And we should do a follow-up
we
because,
did.
we're taping before the special
Right,
session.
yeah,
We can
for
do another one
protections and
after.
everything else,
Yeah,
so they
yeah.
need to know what's going on.
And I have the schedule, so I'll let you know what
Right.
time
Yeah,
we
without a
have
doubt,
available.
so, but what do you think? I mean, anything else we should be talking about? You got about 50 seconds. in.
Well, first I want to thank you both for
Yeah.
allowing me to come on
Mm-hmm.
today. It's always a pleasure, and I think what's really important is for the viewers to understand that the Republicans are serious, about what we're doing. We are moving forward. We didn't get to discuss many of them, but we've made some great accomplishments over the past 4 years. And, we're going to continue, and we certainly look forward to staying in the majority. And it's no fun to be in the minority because, one of the keys to this is, and we talked about the businesses, and the business profit tax through our initiative is going to be reduced
Right.
again this
It'll
year.
be 4 years in a row.
4 years in a row.
Right.
If we're out of the majority, that will be the very first thing that.
And we're below
And
Massachusetts.
we'll need to bring that up when we tape again across the
Right.
river.
That's right.
We're below Massachusetts taxes, right?
Right.
Business taxes. I just heard that recently.
Yeah.
Nice.
That our tax base is below them.
Yeah.
So it makes us competitive here
It
in the
does.
state.
It does. Yeah.
Well, Dick, how do people get in touch if they wanted to contact and they wanted more information?
Well, if they want more information, the House Majority Office, which is online, they can certainly reach out to us there. I'm happy to, answer any question and be available, and that's, part of my job, and I'm hoping that
It's a
everything
pleasure
goes well.
having you here
Thank
today
you.
in Londonderry.
All right.
And thank you. And Jeanine, once again, another great show there, some good information. Hopefully the business community is watching it.
Yep, we taped 3 shows in a
3
row
shows today. We've been busy. But once again, who's looking out for you? We'll be back next week.